Okay, so let's go through how you would create a new image library based on those information or fact sheets that Ross has got together in his Butterflies of Victoria book. As the administrator for PaDIL suite, I simply move into here and I can create, I can edit, and anybody can edit actually, who I nominate the image libraries, that I can assign an administrator to them. But at the moment, I'm the only one who can add a new image library. Here's where I can give it a URL name. Each new image library has its own URL and its own homepage. So I give it a URL name. I here to give it a screen name. And then down here's where I have a summary or an about statement. And here's where I decide whether it's a biodiversity or a biosecurity library. Do you wish to have a reliability index, which gives the user some indication of the reliability of the specimen and the species information? In other words, was it put in by the world expert, or was it put in by an amateur who really didn't know much about it? In here, I'm able to add in a new administrator. So I can search through here and I find Gary Kong as a registered user of PaDIL. I can select Gary, save it, and now Gary becomes the administrator of the Victorian or whatever library I created, but I can make Gary the administrator, and then Gary can go off and decide to build facets and characters and add users into authors to build the page there. By the way, also you can cut and paste very easily into these text boxes. Here's some information I've just quickly pulled out. It's identification of a species, but what I wanted to show you was that you can put it in here and you can got all these bold underlining bullet points, but you can click here then and you can get a preview of what it will look like on the actual website itself. So let's go in and have a quick look at how I constructed the Butterflies of Victoria. And you'll see here I gave it the URL name VicButter. So its URL is www.padil.gov.au/VicButter. The screen name is the Butterflies of Victoria. Here's a bit of text. It's a biodiversity library, and it has a reliability index that we'll be able to see. Once you've actually created it, then it opens up the ability to the library. Once you've created the library, you can then build the facets, build the characters, add authors, and then build individual species pages. So let's go through those quickly. Here's the facets. We put a lot of time and effort into facets, and I'd like to just show you some of the different ways you can build them. Let's look at ant association. Now remember, with the ant association, we had text there which told us the scientific names of the ants that are associated with the butterflies, and it'd be nice to be able to call up and say, well, I'd like to see all the species that are attended by Iridomyrmex ants or Camponotus ants or Notoncus ants. So you simply say, I'd like a text field, and that's where you add in all the text. Now here's one where I've decided I would like to be able to have the user make a query to say, does the species have an ant association or not? Is it yes or no? And in some cases, the ant association is predaceous, so I put in predators there. To add options, you simply move into here and you put no, and you pop it into there, and it creates you the option within the facet. You can also make a decision whether you want multiple or you want single ones. Here I've decided it's a single option. It is either yes or no or predaceous. Then you can decide whereabouts you'd like to display and how you'd like to display that facet. Inside each species page, you can decide which are the tabs that pop up. And because the ant association has a text field with information on the various ants that attend that species of butterfly, I'd like a tab page. If it's a badge, then you pop up here, but they're mainly for the reliability or for the statuses. And you might say, I don't want to. If you have a facet that doesn't have a text page and you've only got yes or no, then there's not a great deal of purpose in having it as a tab to see yes, no. So you could press the do not display. Then down here you decide whether you want your facet to be shown as part of a query term, or if you click this off, then all it does is it shows it here in the drop box, okay, which is the text field. So with the ants, I want to have a text field. I want to give the user an option of yes or no or predator. I want to display it on the tab page, and I want to display it in the main page. Okay, having created the facets, we now go on to the characters. And remember, from the images that Ross can provide me, we have adult female, male, egg dorsal and egg lateral views, food plant, larva, map and pupil images. Let's see how we can build these. We have to simply build a facet. You label it, beg your pardon, a character, you label it, in this case, as a larva. And what that does is it allows me then in the comparative image table to pull out all of the images that are associated with larva. I don't have any character analysis or character states to add to it, so we just leave that as it is. However, if we look at the egg dorsal, remember we talked about helping the user to be able to search for their egg rather than just looking through all of the available images. We said in the dorsal egg view, we have character states, and they will be either a blunt knobs, long spines, non-ribbed, pitted, ribbed, or indeed with short spines. So we now, when we go to the comparative image table and we have a list of all of the egg images, we can say, just show me those with long spines, or just show me those with ribbed. Where this enables you to go is to say, I have a species that I found on acacia and the egg is ribbed. Show me the options. That's the kind of thing you can do there. Once you've built your characters and character analysis state, you then go in and you add then users. Now, when you add a user, you can decide how you want them. Let's go in and you simply go down to a list and open up a name, and you can then decide what you want them to do. This option here is if we have a hidden image library and we want to make people a user of that hidden library. So at the moment it's a bit defunct, but as I said, it gives us the ability from a biosecurity point of view to hide an image library. If we want them to be a contributor, an author, we click on that one there. And if we want them to be able to change the images, so here's where you add the text and here's where they can modify the images. You pop them into there. So as I said, access to a hidden library, authorship, and look at the library settings that we have down there. So in this case here, I'm the administrator, the project manager, and I've added in Amy and Gary as two authors to help me with my project. Then we go ahead and we build. So from the facets, we have built our template. If we add I'll go into, we'll look at one that's already built. From the facets, by default, we have facets there for the common name and for the scientific name and then for the author and then for a taxonomy. Remember, it's the taxonomy which builds dynamically. That's where you put it in there. If there are synonymies of other common names or of scientific names, you pop them in there. Here's where you can put descriptive information, and remember, you can click on this to be able to see a view of it. And now here are the facets that we've built by hand. Is there an ant association? Yes or no? And if there is or not, you can put some text down there. Here's the biology. Remember, I didn't want to have an actual facet query box for biology, so nothing occurs there. But I've got all this information in here, which is going to be indexed. And so it just has a notes field, a text field. So I might go along and be able to search on Currajong. Show me all the butterflies that occur on Currajong. Then we have common names that are down there, and they can be family common names, blues, hair streaks, flats, or they may be species common names. Then we have the conservation status, and there are three. There's listed, restricted, and no conservation status. Down here, and this one here would be remember that single option, whereas down here would be a multiple option. So here's a range of different plant families that the butterflies occur on, and you're able to choose more than one by simply